Let's go back to the political sphere. Day 2 for the Democrats concluded. Day 3, that'd be tonight. And from the conservative group Young Voices, Jacob Lane joining me. From the little snippets and audio cuts that I've been taking in this morning, I don't hear anything really new as far as policy promises. It's mostly just platitudes and really no specifics on how to save the economy, make people's lives better. There's a lot of anti-Trump rhetoric still out there. There's a lot of defending the wholesale killing of the unborn. There's a bloodlust to kill babies, abortion. I don't hear much as far as solutions. Why, in your opinion, Jacob? Why is look? I know it's populism and popular politics, but part of it is. But why is the modern incarnation of the Democrat Party potentially so popular that despite the bloodlust, the killing of babies, and all this crazy stuff, and Orange Man bad, despite all this and no policies, just this vapid political movement, why are they so popular, brother? Does that say much about the intelligence of this country? I hope not.
Well, I'm with you, and I'm just glad. Look, I'm a resident of Illinois, and I'm just glad right now I'm nowhere near Chicago. I don't think I could handle it. But you said something earlier, and you're exactly right. The Democrats, they just can't quit former President Donald Trump. It seems just too much for the party elite not to bash the former president any chance they can get. And, I often hear from a lot of their talking heads that it's a party that's, quote unquote, and I'm using quotes here, moving forward. But for a party that's moving forward, they're doing an awfully lot of backward looking. Yeah. I think if you watched the convention yesterday, if you could stomach it yesterday, and if you could stomach it on Monday, and if you were up past midnight when Biden was making his exit from the stage, you'll see that, look, these are folks that are very light on policy proposals, but look, their candidate is. Go to her website. Yeah. Harris hasn't put up a single policy proposal. And I think they're figuring to themselves, look, we can just use anti-Trump rhetoric. It's worked for us sometimes in the past, and that's what we're going to continue to do because we don't think people are smart enough to look in to see, if we do have policies. And when they do present policies, as she did about a week ago with her economic policies, it's a disaster. I mean, we're going back to price controls, back to the 70s. Things that the Soviet Union tried that ended in a disaster.
Venezuela
and
tried.
I will go.
They went hungry. Venezuela, Cuba, all those places. Yeah.
Well, and the other thing too is that I just find it too, and you mentioned their stance on abortion. I just think it's completely out of stream with most of mainstream America. I mean, the fact that you have Planned Parenthood at the convention offering free abortions and vasectomies. I mean, I always thought the Democrats were the party of keeping abortion safe, rare, and legal. That was always the Clinton era, right? That was always safe, rare, and legal. That was always their that was always their mantra. That was always their issue. And now it just seems like I hate to say this, but it's almost like the party of death. It's just like, let's celebrate this. It's nothing more now that, that it shouldn't be safe, rare, and legal. It should be celebrated. And I just think that's dangerously out of touch with the majority of America, especially in the heartland.
Considering the economic mess that we're in, we're paying about 20-30% more on everything compared to the start of the Biden administration, the mismanagement of the economy, mismanagement of distribution of goods, logistics, mismanagement and suppressing of our own natural resource energy, or our own oil and petrol and natural gas, and raising the price of delivery to market for everything. Diesel costs through the roof. Eventually, all this passed down to the consumer. This mess of inflation that we're in, that he created, Biden and Harris, the mismanagement of the border under the border czar, Miss Harris, and this mess that we have at the border. Despite all of this, it shouldn't. It's close, and it shouldn't be this close right now. That's what I find really scary of how asleep generally the American people are. And I blame the so-called, well, it is mainstream. It is still mainstream, dinosaur media and all the propaganda from the leftist media that carry the water for the Democrats.
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if you just saw a story the other day, but I think Media Research Center put together something where they put a side by side like coverage of both candidates. And if you look, that Kamala Harris has to date received about 85% favorable coverage, whereas Donald Trump has received about 92% negative coverage. I mean, it's hard to compete with that, right? Because if you're not watching alternative media, if you're not watching sources like, Newsmax or other alternative sources, this is what you're hearing over and over again, is that, Donald Trump was the problem. The Republicans are the problem. They're the reason why the border's the mess. They caused inflation. They caused, the economy to crash. They caused all this stuff. And if that's the only place you're getting your news from, I mean, I hate to say it, like, you're going to be easily persuaded to believe that.
Yes, sir. You're fighting uphill all the entire way, all the way to Election Day, and it's just around the corner. Early vote just around the corner, about 50 some odd days away. Thank you so much, Jacob. Good to talk to you again from the conservative group Young Voices, Jacob Lane.